starting. Got it. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest, the greatest, the mightiest episode of the Boys from Bossk ever. There's very few episodes like this that ever happen, but this is possibly the most important one you will ever listen to or see, depending on where you are, whether you're on your YouTube channel or whether you're on our podcast site. This is the Boys from Bossk, who bring you the best, the greatest, the most entertaining stories throughout the year. We've had an amazing journey. We've picked up lots of followers. We've picked up loads of bounties. And you know what? The show's just beginning. So let me say goodbye to 2021 as me and Dave go through the highs and lows of the year and all the things that we've watched. And we try and bring it down to a list of 10. Okay? We'll be doing a different system. Huh?
It'd be 20.
Well, list 10 good, 10 bad.
And when Frank arrives, it'll be 30.
Well, yeah, if Frank does arrive. Cheeky Frank, where are you? Where are you?
Probably making a new jingle for our podcast.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. But yes, it's 2022, and we're going to give you what were our best of 2021 very shortly. There are a few announcements to make before we roll on with the show. A few news stories did happen. It's been very quiet, obviously, because everybody's been away, partying, drinking, whatever people do. But there's a few stories to go over. Obviously, Boba Fett came to us in all his glory last week on the 29th. He popped up.
Today?
No, well, the first episode did last week. And then we had another episode since we last met. Before I ask what you think of it, it literally apparently has the worst reviews so far of all the Star Warses, which makes me think there's something wrong with Star Wars fandom. But I keep hearing stories about how toxic and actually, like, I've always had questions about Star Wars fandom because, like, the Empire are literal Nazis, right? They're bad guys, yeah? Right? You with me? We have the bad guys, right? But the amount of people
yes. Was I meant to say something? I was just listening like the rest of our listeners.
You have people who enjoy dressing up like stormtroopers. I've always found that a bit disturbing. And there's a gang of them called the 501st. Have you heard about them?
Yeah.
They do all the charity runs. They're like bikers or whatever.
They're
they
awesome.
dress up. But I've always found it weird that people love. I'm like, they're literal Nazis though. But I know they're fantasy Nazis, but they're like Nazis. And I've started hearing stories about how freaking horrible they actually are as individuals. So I'm like, I think Star Wars fandom has actually always been pretty toxic. And I've naively looked upon them as fans of Star Wars. But they hate Boba Fett. And from what I'm hearing, for the most childish of reasons.
You're calling them friendly Nazis, right?
Huh?
Basically. You're calling them friendly Nazis.
I know, there's no such thing. And do you know what reasons people hate Boba Fett for?
It's quite boring.
Do you want to take a guess? Because it's quite intriguing in itself.
No white people.
Do you know what? That's not too far off the mark, but that isn't the reason they hate old Boba.
Because he's not wearing the armor.
No, not even that. Because he's too nice. No, that's one of the reasons. No, apparently they put a whole.
You got to remember, this guy had a whole 8 minutes of time on the screen.
Yeah, but that's
or did it work out 2 minutes in all?
I think that's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why I've never been a big fan of Boba Fett, because people keep going on about him like he was this great character, and he literally gets taken out by a blinded Han Solo with one shot. Yeah. But they're hating on it. But I don't think it's necessarily because there's anything wrong with it. It's because everything's got to be weaponized this way in fandom. right? So whereas people like me and you who can sit down and just enjoy something, like I could watch Star Wars, and even though there's not many people in color, especially in the first film, I can enjoy it for what it is. About a kid who meets a space wizard and saves a princess, right? I accept Star Wars for that. I don't look to it for much more than that. But there's people who go too far. So I think there's been a campaign against any sort of what they consider to be woke. And one of the things about Boba Fett I've noticed is they've started to humanize the Sand People, especially in this episode. So before, the Sand People were just people that Anakin Skywalker slaughtered, and Obi-Wan chased away. And now it's so much more. What did you think of the episode? Are you a Boba Fett fan? Are you? I'm not saying you have to like it, by the way. Are you taken with it, or do you like the depth they're taking?
I'm not sure.
Boba Fett to,
I'm really not sure. I'm
is
not
it
liking all
off-putting?
this. I don't like things that always do flashbacks. I hate flashback things.
Mm.
So you either start it from the back and work your way forward,
Yeah.
or just don't put a past there.
Mm.
And I can't deal with that sometimes, because it's like
Yeah.
you don't know where you could just turn your head down for 2 seconds and then you're lost.
Mm.
But as a show, it's been all right. It hasn't been as good as The Mandalorian. But
for me,
two
they're in a very similar
it's a
place.
good story.
Yeah.
You know, how he came where he was and stuff like that.
Mm.
How he got the staff, and now he's an honorary sand person.
So you like
I
that?
don't know. Then he
I
says,
think
I'm
they're
not a
saying that's
bounty
it.
hunter, and it's not. It's like, oh, come on, man.
I think he may make a better crime boss than a bounty hunter. I am slightly worried about how Disney's going to do crime boss. I don't see them doing Soprano level like violence and action.
Yeah, there's that as well. It's just like, oh. I think
But
it's just been too Disney-fied.
I like the way they've sort of taken a very different stance. I do like the way they've humanized the Sand People a bit. Because the one thing that always bothered me, and I'm sure I mentioned it before, is the reaction that Padme has to Anakin when he slaughters an entire village.
Yeah, but he's made them into like bloody, like Samoan bloody gang.
Yeah, but I like that.
They're like Maoris. It's like, hold on a minute, come on, mate. Bloody Sand People, not a tribe off an island.
No, I get that, but I think it gave them a bit more character, and I think the fact that Tamara Morrison, it was like, because he's married, that added to it a bit more. And I think it was just a really nice touch. It's given them a bit of character. It's given them a bit of depth, but they're still bad boys. You know what I mean? They're not. It's not like they're a gang. He's created a proper gang.
I think this should have been released on Disney Star, and that way it could be more adult.
That would have been nice. It's going to be interesting to see.
Considering you've got so many of these Star Wars programs, you can do an adult one and a junior one.
Does Disney say what the show's rated as?
It's probably,
because I don't see how it would be under child entertainment. Because there's still, even though there's no blood in it, there's still like, you know, people getting shot, people getting their
it was like the biker gang thing in the bar and stuff like that. It's like, come on, man, it's just taking the piss out of Hell's Angels, isn't it?
He didn't take him out though. I like that. Let's see. No, it doesn't have a rating on it. Oh, it's got a rating of 12 plus. Very young kids. 12 years old, it means they can't have blood in it or whatever. I assume that's it. But no, I'm with you there to a bit. I think I did look at it. I almost cringed when they went all like with the. Wait a second, he's turned them into like. They're playing this a bit thickly, but I think it works for the show and it makes it different from the Mandalorian, because Boba Fett isn't essentially considered a Mandalorian; he's a clone. But now he's sort of created an own character for himself, and for me, that kind of worked on these 2 episodes.
Then the Mandalorian's not a Mandalorian, so.
True, but he follows that stuff strict nanny apart. Well, he used to.
Yeah, even the people from Mandalore said it ain't real. It's just your cult.
Yeah, but he was the snare, which I think Bo-Katan, when she had words with him, she was like, "Who are you?" You're just a clone. You're just a shadow of a Mandalorian, pretty much. She was not happy with Boba Fett. So I think it's quite interesting. But what bothers me about so at the moment the Boba Fett show is on 85%, which I don't think is bad on Rotten Tomatoes, right? That's a pretty good score.
I think that's probably about right at the moment because it's.
But what I don't get is how Cobra Kai season 4 is on 100%. I'm over the past year. One of the things that stood out the most. Is the reminiscing about the 80s, which has been happening a lot over the past couple of weeks. But one of the things I don't get is I think it's gone too far, especially with Cobra Kai. Karate Kid was an all right film, but it wasn't. I don't think it was that spectacular a film. Like it. When I was a kid, it gave me a few moves when I was getting bullied and I got into a fight.
Morgan's trying to join.
I know, our special guest. Hello, Morgan.
Welcome to the show, Morgana.
Thanks.
Welcome to the boys from Bossk. You all right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm literally this late because I've been trying for 10 minutes to figure out the background. Technical difficulties. I'm not joking.
Maybe you just turn your camera on, it might help.
I just did. Says it's on.
Oh. Well.
Stop video.
Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not Morgan, it's Frank. Welcome to the show. All the way from the United States, which I might know Canada. Sorry,
I said Toronto.
All the way from Canada, Toronto, which I think is our third biggest audience at the moment. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're okay. We were just chatting about Mando.
You chatting about what?
Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
No, not it's Bubba. Well, the Mandalorian known as Boba Fett. Have you been able to catch the show out there? Have you got Disney Plus out there?
Yeah, I just got Disney Plus recently. I got it to watch the Beatles thing. Yeah, Dave's favorite band.
Yeah,
I've caught bits of it.
Pretty good.
I've caught bits of it. What do you make of it?
I think it's all right. I mean, it's a lot of people are upset with it, but I think it's all right for Star Wars. Like I said, I don't know. I love Star Wars, but I love it because it's cheesy, fun entertainment. Outside of that, I'm not going to get upset with it. That's why I think I'm okay with all the films they put out, because I'm just like, it's Star Wars. It's about kids and space wizards. I can't put too much. Joey, it's like watching Fast and Furious. Huh?
What wizards are there?
Well, the Jedi's are just wizards, aren't they? Obi-Wan's like a space wizard.
Wizards and lizards.
Well, he is. Look at him. He can make things move with his mind. Ooh, use the Force. I'm just like, well, that's what the Force is. It's just magic.
Okay.
And the Emperor's just the evil wizard, and that's it. I just like and then Princess Leia's a princess. What's his name? Han Solo's a rogue, a charming rogue. Don't get me wrong, but he's a rogue. And Luke's the hero. So I don't, you can't put too much on these films. I think people do, but we're always saying, what was your peak generation? Was it the 90s, like in terms of entertainment, Frank?
Yeah, I grew up 89. I was born, right? So okay. 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, so while we were talking about that, I was also talking about the fact that people are reminiscing about the 80s far too much for my taste.
Yeah, people do. Our generation are doing that with the 90s and the early 2000s, right? It was perfect. Can we just go back to that?
Yeah.
Like you want to go back. Like it's like the Stevie Wonder Coolio song, Pastime Paradise. Everybody, I think because things are so shit right now, people want to go back. But that's what you said. Yeah, it wasn't. It was a mess. It was just as bad. Well, it wasn't just as bad.
People keep reminiscing about all the films shown in the 80s. Now, one of the big film Netflix projects at the moment is Cobra Kai. And at the moment, Cobra Kai is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. People love it, right? and I was just speaking to Dave just as when you jumped in, and I was going on about the fact that Karate Kid is not that good a film. Okay, it was entertaining. I don't know, was it a massive hit at the time, Dave?
The first one was really good.
It was enjoyable.
It was a cult classic.
Come
Everyone
on,
would have
man.
learned karate from that film.
Did they really? Yeah, lots of
Yeah,
people took
and
it.
then they got into Bruce Lee, and they got into Bruce Lee and and stuff because you thought, oh my god, there's better stuff than this.
Oh,
a lot of fences got painted.
Yeah.
Only an amateur hour. Most people who were into karate were already into it from Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and other films like that.
Yeah, but when you're
Karate
our age,
Kid
like
just
6, 7 years old, you weren't allowed to watch those films.
Oh, come
you had
on.
to wait till the
you
90s.
Snuck in and watched them. I think Karate Kid was just for, your middle class view of karate. And I remember even when I watched the film at the end, how did he walk into that kick, the swan kick that Danny does at the end? Even I can spot that a mile away.
It's actually called the crane technique.
Oh, please, whatever, man. It's called Bigfoot. How do you miss it?
You know what, though? Hang on. The only difference, though, the big difference that you had back then as opposed to now, or even in the last, 10 years, is that back then, that was the first time it had been made. That was the first, you know what I mean? It was new. It was fresh. It was not like it hadn't been seen before. It's like Dave is saying, like people hadn't seen that. And then all of a sudden that opens you up to Jackie Chan movies and Bruce Lee and different things like that. Whereas I think before, now it's just like everything's just a rehash. It's like, oh yeah.
And it's not I enjoyed the Cobra Kai series. Have you seen the Cobra Kai series? Like,
I've seen like little bits of it.
Say
I've
no.
caught like an episode here and there. No, again, like these. This is the thing. I just don't consistently follow, or I don't consistently stick with it. Like I'll watch an episode here and there just to get a feel for it. But I mean, I think it's good what they're doing. It's good for the actors because they probably haven't worked for.
Haven't worked since Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, they've been painting fences. Yeah, but I think it's. But at the same time, it's sort of like how long can you take a franchise, right?
Well, they've already announced, I think, season 5 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I'm done.
I know, Dave, have you watched it whole lot?
I'm done. No, I'm literally. I'm done. I'm done watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do no more.
May I ask why?
There's only so much of my life is left. And these half hours getting taken away by bad shit ain't helping.
Well, the young man who plays the main character, he's been
put on a lot of weight, hasn't he?
Well, apparently
someone that's meant to be an athlete.
Who? What's his name? Ralph?
No, not Danielson.
Oh no.
The new little Mexican kid.
He's being cast as Blue Beetle in a new DC film. So he's already progressed to superhero status. And he's gonna be in a bit of that DC Warner Brothers money.
Wow. DC Warner Brothers.
His name's Zolo Mariduena.
I think Frank's kettle's going off there because it's so bad.
That's just me internally just feeling
the
fact that they're doing a new season. I'm just like, I have to calm down.
No, yeah. I don't mind reminiscing about the 80s, but this year especially, I think it's got.
And have you not noticed every season they got to bring back another crap actor from the film?
Yeah. Well, who did they bring back this season? Because I've only watched the first.
They brought back one of another bad guys.
Okay.
Chris's friends.
Do you reckon
he's a partner in crime? It was. Oh,
what's that?
It was his partner in crime.
Oh, do you reckon they'll get to a point when they invite Will Smith's son on?
And then Jackie Chan will come in as well.
Jackie Chan, because that was the last Karate Kid film, wasn't it? Which made Japanese no sense to me at all, because it was set in China. It had Jackie Chan doing the training, and it was called Karate Kid. I was like, that makes. Because it's not in China, it's not.
But Jackie Chan is kung fu.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jackie Chan. I don't know. Have you read Jackie Chan's book? Apparently, Jackie Chan's book is wild.
Well, he had a really wild upbringing. He was from a young age trained to do what he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no easy feat. I think one of the side effects of like if you go and watch like the Shonen monks and stuff like that, that was the type of stuff he was trained up on. So from being a kid and doing the splits to a massive movie star, and it's still a huge star, especially out in China. That he's had a really impressive career, and I think he's done more for martial arts in the movies than even Bruce Lee did.
Only because Bruce Lee didn't have a chance.
And neither did his son.
Yeah. So
anyway, sorry.
Let's move on away from this. Next topic.
Got really, really dark all of a sudden. I can't see anything. No, that was just a bit of news. Obviously, I just wanted to say one of my favorite TV comedians, presenters, actresses passed away this week. Betty White. Love that woman. I remember the first time I saw her was actually in Golden Girls, which is the show I started watching again because it is actually really, really funny. And that's on Disney.
You know, she was only the second funniest one in Golden Girls.
I think she was the funniest one.
No, the Sicilian grandma was the funniest.
She was good. You know, she was actually younger than Betty White.
Really?
Yeah, Betty White was actually the oldest one on the set.
Oh, wow.
And she was the longest lived, actually, out of a lot of them.
I mean, I think, what was she? She was like 2 weeks away from turning 100 or something like that?
99, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a good innings, and she's done a lot. She did a lot. But yeah, she's probably most famous for Golden Girls over here. And I think she was amazing. She was amazingly funny. There's loads of clips of her and Ryan Reynolds, who they got on with each other quite well, doing sketch promos for Deadpool. There's loads of videos of her old show on YouTube if anybody wants to chase those up. But I just want to say goodbye, Betty. You will be missed. Her career, she worked up until the end.
Can I do the pun?
Huh?
Thank you for being a friend.
Down the road and back again. Your heart is true. Sorry, you're a friend. But anyway, in my last bit of news before we do our top and bottom.
Top bottom. Hey, it's called a belly.
Yeah, well, you know what? Shall we do our show reviews and then do our top 10 and worst 10? Just do some quick show reviews. All right. First of all, I haven't seen it. Cobra Kai. What's your review of Cobra Kai so far? It's not a trick question.
Score of 12.
12 out of
100.
Oh boy, that's pretty bad. Okay.
He gets Johnny to paint the fence.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't watch it. I've
literally only watched 2.5 episodes of season 4.
It's too
I've done 3 seasons, so that's enough.
Oh, fair enough. The Witcher finished last week. Frank, did you watch any of The Witcher? Are you a Henry Cavill fan?
I'm not a Henry Cavill fan.
You're not in love with him yet. Is that what you're saying?
No, not yet. Apparently, you're telling me it's about to happen.
Are you aware of The Witcher? Is that something that's crossed your path on Netflix?
I actually saw it pop up. But I was watching something else that took up many days.
I watched the entire season. I thought it was quite good. The finale is quite exciting. I still think the concepts in it, although are not as dated as Lord of the Rings, which I think is a franchise that just needs to disappear. I think it's still got that whole Chosen One narrative, which I just don't think works anymore. Because they always say they're the chosen one and they can save the world, and I'm like, well, what's the point of doing anything? If they're going to win, it's like if you're Satan and you've already been told, right, in the Bible, you're going to lose, why would you bother? What's the point? Just go and have a good time. Just chill out somewhere. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these stories, especially about dragons and stuff that I don't get. But The Witcher, I still enjoyed. And Henry Cavill, as much as I think I can't tell whether he's acted really well or he's just a really good plank of wood. But I do enjoy The Witcher. It's one of my favorite shows. How about you, Dave? Did you toss a coin?
It's because he's such a really big nerd. he knows the story background, so he acts really well for it.
Yeah.
So he knows how to play the character because he's
Is
done
it
it.
true? Is it true? I just read that there's a bit of speculation that he's out as Superman now.
But it's
I
no
think
speculation. He's got one more film, hasn't he? I think it is.
Yeah, but they're talking now that he might have been just paid off to leave, and they're going to get someone else in.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's been at it for a while. They haven't had any huge success with him.
Doesn't he want to be
The
Captain Britain
films
anyway?
made a lot of money, but they haven't had a huge amount of success with him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he steps away. But I don't
Captain
think that would
Brexit.
bother Henry Cavill. Huh?
Captain Brexit.
Yeah. I think, I wouldn't blame him for leaving. But at the same time, his Man of Steel wasn't a terrible film. I enjoyed that. I was okay with that.
Who was the one before him? That was terrible.
Which one? The
Superman
Returns.
Yeah, what's his name? What's his name? Brandon something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's coming back. He's coming back for the DC multiverse, apparently.
Well, he already did.
Yeah.
It was Crisis on Infinite Earths, wasn't he? He returned as Superman.
Oh, did he? I don't remember that.
Joe, I didn't hate that film. I just thought there was no point in it. It was kind of like it was meant to be a continuation of the 80s movies. And those movies were so unique. I was like, why would you like there was hardly anybody who watched it was born during that time. They wouldn't have known, young people would not know what that was about. And also Kevin Spacey doing a really bad impersonation of Gene Hackman doing Lex Luthor made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they should have just tried to get Gene Hackman back.
Yeah.
You know.
Gene will pay her loads of money.
Yeah. Well, they probably spent enough, you know. They probably spent enough on Spacey.
It made a lot of money. I think it made $500 million. It made a lot of money. It was just
because it would have done because people wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
The first Superman film in a decade and a half. It should have been the best thing ever made.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
Because I feel even though it's like even though those Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans is like 3 Spider-Mans ago. Those were the first big ones in a long time.
Well, yeah, Spider-Man.
At that time, actually 6 Spider-Mans ago now.
Yeah.
Because we don't count the emo one.
Oh yeah.
Don't be so cruel to him. It wasn't his fault.
That was pretty bad though. Yeah.
I think that
the ones after were pretty bad.
Yeah. I haven't.
But we're not going there. We had this discussion last week.
I haven't seen the ones in the middle.
Yeah, they don't exist. They're like the Star Wars movies.
Well, they're the Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. They're on
Netflix over here if you want to watch them.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think the problem was Andrew Garfield. I think it was just bad scripts.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Yeah, no, it was bad scripts, and they especially in the second film, they telegraphed in that Gwen Stacy was going to die throughout that movie, and can we
get off this topic? Because we've done it last week. I've had enough of that.
Don't hate the Spider-Man. Don't do it.
Why did Frank bring it up? He obviously didn't listen to last week's show.
Okay, other things we watched. Venom 2.
I did.
Venom 2, I know you watched that, Dave. I watched Venom 2. I thought it was okay. I thought it was too short. And I thought it wasn't... They should have done a lot. It should have been a bigger film. It just ended up being an average... They turned Carnage into a very average villain. So I wasn't impressed with Let There Be Carnage. But it was okay. I mean, it was 90
I wasn't actually impressed with the film at all.
No?
No. I actually thought it was quite boring.
It needs a Spider-Man appearance at some point.
It's just too dark.
Oh yeah, that's just special effects, man. Budget.
Yeah, Sony just no, but I think it's just a Sony thing. You watch Sony movies; they're always so dark.
It's budgetary. It's because whenever I get this,
I think it's Columbia, isn't it? It's not actually Sony. It's Columbia.
No. There's a reason for that, right? Yeah. That they keep doing this, and it's the same reason that.
But this film had a massive budget.
Yeah, but you can't do special effects that well during the day. The only studio that's managed to do it is Disney.
Well,
okay,
I feel like
that money.
I feel like they all have such a turnaround now that they don't have enough time to really actually finish everything.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
Maybe
not
they
enough
should
time.
take their time and do it.
Yeah, they
And that
should.
way it'd
But
be a better film and it would create more excitement.
yeah, I know, but that's all around, right? I think that's the case when you're looking at just across the board. But I think there's
I know you're in lockdown.
No, they're
but
just
did
trying
you
to
manage,
trying to
Did
compete.
you manage to see Venom over there, Frank? Did you?
I seen the first. I saw the first one. To be honest, I just didn't
Okay.
really want to watch the second one because I wasn't impressed with the first one.
Exactly. And the
Yeah.
second one's even worse.
Yeah, but I just
don't
thought
know. It had some nice moments.
I thought the first
Yeah,
one.
but
If you
every
were,
film has a nice moment of comedy genius.
Yeah. Well, no.
Like that rubbish film you made me watch with you the other day. What was it?
Which one
The
was
Protege.
I was all right. I liked that film
The film was rubbish. But the comedy value on it was excellent. I still don't know what went on in that film.
Fair enough. I can understand that. Right. Okay. Then, right. Well, just because I don't want to get us too carpet reviews, a few other films that we'll tell you to watch or not watch. F9, Fast and Furious 9. Entertaining, but wait until you can get it on discount because it literally. When people said they were going to go into space, I chuckled to myself. And I went, "What? They're going to send a car into space?" When I saw the trailer, I was like, "That car's Tarzan." In the make, that's literally a Tarzan car. I was like, "That can't be real," but it was, and they do go into space in Fast and Furious 9. And it's just, I don't know why it surprises me how bad it can get. But I guess that's the state of film now, that physics mean nothing to them in Fast and Furious 9. So badly, I was watching it, I was like,
it's all about physics. That's how they got into space. Come on.
Yeah, literally.
Ludacris said it about 20 times. It's all about physics.
Yeah, in the film, they literally go, "I can't believe this is happening," as if to the audience, a little wink. And I was like, no, Fast and Furious is a dead franchise. And it needs to be buried. Like all
it's
those
not finished. There's one more to go.
They're still going. I don't know.
One more to go. There's one more to go.
I think it needs to be killed off after 10. Because where
that's
are they going to go?
That's the plan.
They've gone to space. What are they going to do? The moon?
They haven't been in the sea yet.
They blew up a submarine with cars. I'm just in F7. So where are they going to go? Frank, Dave, what was your take on it? Did you?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Frank, what about you?
I'm going to watch it now. I haven't gotten past 6.
I'm not kidding to you. Literally have a Tarzan car. And I was like,
it wasn't a Tarzan car. He looked at the bridge was gone,
really?
And he drove the front axle into the rope. He drove it into the rope, and it swung across, and then it flipped and crashed and everything else.
And somehow kept going.
So you're thinking the electromagnets weren't as big as bullshit going through all these buildings when they turned it left and right?
Not just any buildings, Edinburgh. I was like, really? Okay, you could drive around like that in Edinburgh. I don't think so. That film, no, that's definitely no.
You gave that a high 9, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm giving that like 3 because it was entertaining. I'm gonna give it like 5 out of 10.
I thought John Cena was a wrestler. I'm joking.
He was, but he's now.
I'm joking.
Now Vin Diesel's brother. And what?
John Cena is now The Rock's new sparring partner when it comes to movies.
Yeah, he's now Vin Diesel's brother, and I just didn't get like.
Hang on. I have the trailer on mute here. Hang on.
It's all about family. It's all about.
I thought the story was pretty good. They brought all the cast members back from the past films.
From the
little
dead.
Bow Wow was no longer little. He's very chubby.
They kept bringing back people that died, and what I didn't clearly their budget went so fast they couldn't even afford Kurt Russell properly.
Well, no, because he's the big business now. After he played what's his name? Eno? Is it Eno? Can't think of his name now. What's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Who?
Kurt Russell was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
What was his name? Eno.
Oh, Ego.
Ego.
Yeah. So yeah, F9 is definitely on the look. It's not a great film, but I'd wait until you get it on discount before you watch it because it's utterly ridiculous. Physics out the window completely, and it's like, how did these street racers go from street racers to the type of people the U.S. government calls upon to save the world?
It tells you if you watch the films.
It's like it's a format for Armageddon, because Armageddon is also an incredibly daft film but incredibly entertaining. But it's silly beyond belief. Do you know what I mean? And it reeks of like, I don't know. It just because I watched Armageddon the other day.
That's why I thought Don't Look Up was very unbelievable because it was like if this was actually happening, they sent Bruce Willis up there.
I'm really going to have no worst of 2021 soon. I'll tell you, because you're not just saying it all.
But yeah, it reminded me of Armageddon. I'm sorry, it hurt my feelings because Armageddon. I tried watching it again.
I don't
so entertaining, but it's the same thing as Armageddon. Because what happens in Armageddon?
You slag off every film, man. Come on, just leave Armageddon alone. That's a fucking
what happens
classic.
in Armageddon? There's a meteorite heading to Earth, right?
It's an asteroid.
Apparently, the smart people
it's an asteroid. It's not a meteorite. It's an asteroid.
There's a very big meteorite heading towards Earth, and the smart people who usually sort it out can't. So they call out some oil riggers. Because they're the only people apparently that know how to drill. Who turn up at NASA and basically just go, "You're idiots. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing." And it just carries on from there. It gets progressively worse, and it's just a stupid concept. I'm
gonna put you on my shit list.
Feel free, but yeah, watch it again. My last quick film is a film called Rainfall. It's got a great trailer, but do not watch it. It's a cheat in so many different ways because it's meant to be a single film about an alien invasion. You get to the end of the film and they're like, Rainfall, Chapter 1. Rainfall, Chapter 2 coming soon. I was like, how dare you? How dare you? Don't bother watching it. It's not that great. It's about how racist Aussies are. And that's it.
How racist what are?
Australians are.
Oh.
And everybody spends the entire film going, "You all right, mate? You all right, mate? Mate, what you doing, mate? What you doing, mate?" And they just keep making really bad racist jokes because it's aliens, it's cool, and it's funny if your character defect is racism. But that was that. There's no more to say about it. Don't bother watching it. Right, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it free?
Huh?
Was it free?
No, I think it cost me 99p.
Occupation Rainfall?
No, it's
that's what it's called, Operation Rainfall. Yes,
I think Project Rainfall is what it might come up as. And look for Tamara Morrison; he's in it. Oh, Boba Fett, he makes his appearance. Well, not as Boba Fett, obviously, but I think it might be called Project Rainfall. Australian film came out last year. Yeah, it's a terrible film, absolutely terrible. Right. So we're going to try and do our top 10 and worst 10 of the year. Which one do you want to do first?
The Expanse.
So you want to do worst 10? Okay.
No, that was only a joke. That's not on my top 10.
No, that's
but
fine.
It could have been. It was almost there.
Okay, let's do the worst 10 first. Right,
number 10, Frank.
Worst of the year? Number 10? Oh. So many bad ones. I don't know. Help me out, man. I'm trying to think.
My number 10 is Snowpiercer.
Okay. What, the TV series?
The TV series on Netflix.
Okay.
It also got the second season in the same year.
Got a third season.
No, but it done 2 seasons in 1 year.
Yeah.
I gave up after the third episode. It was just too much.
Okay.
But yeah, the film was really good.
Okay, that's your number 10. What about your 9?
Oh, where's your number 10?
I'll do mine after yours.
Okay, The Flash. I'm fed up with it now. I'm done.
Okay.
I've done 2 episodes of this season, and it just hurt me too much. I just couldn't do it no more.
Okay, so The Flash. Any particular reason?
I've just had enough of it now. It's just too repetitive.
I kind of can understand.
CW needs to go on strike for a couple of years now. Just cut off all the DC stuff. It's all too much.
I can understand.
I think it's because everything was on every day. You had a different thing every day. It's just too much.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then they cross over, and then you get all confused, and you're like, oh, I just had enough. I can't do this no more.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's not enough hours in my life to watch crap.
Okay, you're number 8.
Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, wow. That's a vicious call right there, Dave. That is a vicious call. But go ahead. Why
What do you mean?
you...
It's lucky. You're lucky it ain't higher up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair.
I'm just impressed.
I haven't even watched it, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
What was the reason for that?
What's the reason for it?
Yeah.
It's the title was there, wasn't it? It was Carnage. It was just all over the place.
Okay. That's fair enough.
It could have been so much better. You had his girlfriend who screams and makes Venom and Carnage like it could kill him.
Shriek, yeah.
She was literally in it for like 12 minutes in total. And then they bumped her off. What was the point of having her in it?
They seem to do that a lot in Sony films. I don't like...
It's like, oh, we've got to use this character before we lose the rights. Let's just put them in for a couple of minutes.
And then they just kill them off. And it's like, why do they keep killing off all their... Like, some good villains? And they keep... Like, Sony literally... When they got the rights to Spider-Man, they got the Marvel's best villains. But yet they keep slaughtering them left, right, and centre. Okay, so that's an interesting choice. Okay, what about your number 6 in terms of
number 7?
Is it number 7? Yeah,
10,
sorry,
9,
number
8,
7.
7. It was a program on Amazon with Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy, big cast, 9 Perfect Strangers.
What? 5 Perfect Strangers?
9 Perfect Strangers.
9 Perfect Strangers. Okay, why is that on the list?
It was just boring. It was about these 9 people all end up in a retreat. They've all got these problems, and she's like the goddess to sort it all out. And it's just...
Is she a literal goddess? Or is it just
well, no, she's like the person that owns the retreat.
It's like a wellness retreat, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen bits of it. Yeah, and it's like it's based on like there's all these like people go down to like Costa Rica and stuff, and they do like they do ayahuasca.
Yeah, all the rich people they got problems, and they get cleansed, and
they go to paradise, and they have a bunch of people wait on them hand and foot while they figure out their inner demons.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes, and it's like this is boring. And Nicole Kidman, I don't know what's happened to her. She was a beautiful woman, and now she's just turned into a lump of plastic.
It's kind of
so God knows what she's going to look like in the North, whatever it is she's in.
Well, it's funny, isn't it, with some movies when they cast certain people playing certain roles, and like if there's someone who's had a level of plastic surgery, it's hard to. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Get your eyes off of it.
Well, it's just you can't really take someone like if someone's like, oh, I'm like a broke single mother working at Amazon trying to pay me way, and you're like, you have a lot of plastic surgery on your face. You know what I mean? It's like they can't really convincingly,
emotion. You can't see anything no more.
Yeah,
nothing moves.
Yeah, literally, yeah, yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so sad.
Right, what's next?
This is gonna be your favorite one. Don't Look Up.
Really? You didn't like that either? Okay.
I absolutely despised it. The best thing about that film was Jonah Hill taking the piss out of her.
He's a climate denier.
That's where she belongs as well. I hate her as an actress.
Apparently, it was all improv, right?
Oh, because he actually meant it. That's probably why.
Well, a lot of it was improv. Like they just go, they do the scene like whatever many times and just pick the best one. But they had certain lines that were set, like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Same premise, right? Like they would just improv it, right? So, but yeah, like a lot of that movie was improv. So I think the bit when he's ripping into her and he's just ripping the piss out of her, that was all just on the spot. Him.
I think he just doesn't like her.
Yeah.
All right, next.
I used to be like that with people. This was a hard one because I didn't know which way to go with. I think it's 5 and 6. I'm going to go with Cobra Kai.
Ooh, the 80s is not rubbing off on Dave at all there.
I've actually got higher up on my list here, so I've given it an extra spot lower. So
okay, fair enough. That's getting
because I actually realised the other one below it is actually worse.
Fair enough, Cobra Kai. What took you away from it? Because I know you were into the.
Well,
you were
we
into
just
the first
discussed
season,
it.
weren't you?
We just discussed this. The first two
Okay.
seasons were okay.
All right, I won't put
We
you
had
through
that
it again.
nostalgic reason of it, and now it's just gone too far.
Okay. Next.
Stargirl season 2.
Oh wow!
What?
You enjoyed Stargirl season 1. Stargirl.
Season 1 was really good. Season 1 was really good.
Yeah.
Season 2 was just too much to ask. As soon as I saw the Green Lantern come into it, I thought, you know what, I can't deal with this no more.
Wow, you don't like the meaning green.
No, it's just the acting's terrible. The progress of the program's terrible. I don't know if you completed it or not, but I never.
I'm not gonna argue with you about that one. That's fair enough. Next.
Just Raised by Wolves.
Okay, Raised by Wolves is an interesting show because everybody was raving about it.
I thought this was going to be the next Messiah in sci-fi.
And for me, I've watched it. I didn't hate it, but I couldn't get into it.
I got into it, but I just it's up there.
It reminded me of Lost.
It just wasn't as good as what it was meant to be.
Okay.
With all the advertisements and stuff, you think, oh, this is gonna be great. It's got all these big stars, and no, it was bad.
Okay, then we've got your penultimate 2 here, Dave. I'm like, where are you taking us on this one? What's your second worst show of the year?
The Snyder Cut.
Oh wow! Oh Lord!
That was close. That was almost number 1.
Fair enough. I can't wait to hear what your number 1 is. Right, why did you like the Snyder Cut?
You've seen it all before, haven't you?
Even with the hour, was it 30 minutes extra?
I don't know what it was. It was like it was an extra 20 minutes of my life wasted because it's the same film as what J.J. Abrams done.
Well, it's slightly different.
Yeah, well, I couldn't. Where was the difference?
They gave
it was a bit more colourful.
A bit more to do.
A bit more colourful.
Batman was a bit less of the butt of everybody's jokes.
Yeah, it was.
No, not
it was just another.
Wasted
2.5 hours of the first one, and I got 3 hours of the second one. That's 5 hours.
Well, that's interesting because the Snyder Cut is like number 3 in terms of the most successful streaming on HBO. So
because it was HBO's first thing.
Yeah,
it got released, so it's gonna be big.
I love it. Okay, right. Okay, hold. Okay. Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen, on Big Dave's list of the 10 worst of the year. Hit us. What was it?
It's The Expanse.
Oh, get out of here! You didn't even. I know you haven't watched The Expanse.
It was Jupiter's Legacy.
Okay.
I don't even want to describe what this program's about.
No, did you watch it? You didn't watch it.
I did.
I like that list.
Jesus.
I like that list. I think.
Oh god.
I don't agree with all of it, but I like that list.
I don't care what you agree with. Other people will agree with me.
No, they won't.
I bet they will. There's normal human beings out there somewhere.
No, you know what? Probably. I'm not saying.
I'm more concerned that you actually got around to watching it.
Well, I'm with these 2 other nerds I do a podcast with weekly, so I kind of had to.
Fair enough. I'm not going to hold it against you. Now,
there was other stuff that could have been there, but I just couldn't remember because it was so bad. It's been erased from my drunk memory.
I know we brought you in at very late notice, Frank, so I'm not going to put a huge amount of pressure on you. You might have a 10, but do you want to name some of your worst entertainment of the year?
Mainly the news. I'm trying to think of
a list. You can say no. I'm not going to put pressure on you.
I'm just trying to think of
Dave's list.
I completely agree. I'm trying to think. I just watched what's it called? Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty painful. You know, and it was sort of like, it's Steve Martin, and
Where have I put that? Wow, that's That's a good start.
Why?
Frank's already hurting my feelings. Carry on.
You've hurt my feelings big time. It must be the
Why?
sense of humour now you've gone abroad.
No, I thought it was good. I thought it was good, but it was just too predictable.
That's fair. Well, okay. Yeah. To
You
a
know,
degree, I think it was. Yeah. And look, Frank, that's your allowed your view here.
You're allowed your
No.
opinion.
Boss.
I
You're allowed
thought
your
it was.
opinion.
I
That's what
thought
we're
it
here
was
for.
good. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Like Steve Martin and your man Martin Short were great. I just thought some of it dragged a bit. I felt like they could have. I felt like they could have turned it into a movie, and it would have been a lot more sort of cohesive.
The whole point of that is about spoof comedy.
No, I know, but it's, you know what I mean. I just wanted a bit more of a twist, but I don't want to give anything away. You know,
I'm not. We've given it all away. We've done a weekly podcast about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't the worst. You know, I watched it to the end.
It's on your shit list.
No, that's not my shit list. That's not my shit list. I'm just calling stuff out that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm just I'm trying to think. Yeah, Don't Look Up. I enjoyed Don't Look Up. I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. The whole season.
Come back, hasn't it? Is that coming back? I think it is.
No, it was back. Had a whole season back.
Okay.
Some documentaries, some good documentaries came out.
I watched the whole 6 seasons of Sopranos.
Yeah, actually, that's something I did as well at the start. Hang on, how many years in are we? No, have you seen it?
I'm waiting for that to go down in price.
No, I haven't seen it. I was just intrigued to see if anybody else had.
No, funny though.
It's a HBO thing, isn't it? So
yeah, it's funny that you watch the original Sopranos and you remember how good it was. You know, it's just something else.
I actually couldn't remember hardly any of it. I must have been so high.
No, it's pretty amazing actually. It's pretty amazing how well done it was. You know, you really it just reminds you. But I think I mean, it's funny just what's going on with everything getting rehashed now. You know, they're just remaking everything. It sort of gets to a point where it's a bit much, you know.
Just stop, get an idea of your own.
Yeah,
well, let me start hitting you guys with my 10 worst of the year.
Please.
I definitely watch too much TV and film.
If I think of it, it'll come to me. I just have gotten over COVID, so I've been taking a lot of
Frank, your mere presence is glorious.
my brain is starting to come back.
But feel free to jump in at any moment if you have anything to any comments, especially about my list. Right. So at number 10 in terms of worst show for me this year, it was hard, but the really bad ones came in the later part of the year. And at number 10 is Monster Hunter. Now, Monster Hunter came out, I think, in October, and it was based on a computer game. I did warn you not to watch it.
I didn't watch it because you warned me not to watch it.
It was by the same group that made all the Resident Evil films, and I have to say, I love Ron Perlman, especially when he pops up in the movie. I've loved Ron Perlman ever since Hellboy, when I think he done an absolutely amazing performance in the first Hellboy and the second one. And then they went and ruined it by rebooting it with the third one, and that was just a horrible, horrible mess of a film.
Yeah, that can't be in the top 10.
Huh?
Third one
didn't come out last year, did it?
It
but
just doesn't exist.
Monster Hunter
it's
is in at number 10 just for being especially badly made. And with my top 10, they're in no particular order, but that's definitely in there.
Why are they not in no particular order? It was your idea to do a top 10.
Because they're everything's equally shit. But that's there as being really, really bad. Next up is I think this one was particularly hard for me because part of me did, I think, enjoy it, but Chris Pratt, Tomorrow War. This film was hyped hard by Amazon. And did you end up watching Tomorrow War at all, Dave? Was that?
You know what? I have watched it, but if you ask me what happened, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Because I went through my list today. What I've watched over the years is like, maybe you want to watch this again. So when it came out, I must have watched it like the first week it came out.
Yeah, it's a bad film. I didn't enjoy it.
It'd be one of those. I'll put it on. I go, oh, see, I've seen this.
Yeah, it wasn't a great film. It was very disappointing, and it made absolutely no sense in a science way at all.
That was one that was based in like 2055 or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, the storyline is some people arrive from
years
the
into
future.
the future.
Sorry, the future's being destroyed by aliens that have attacked Earth. So they come to the past to get soldiers, which again makes no sense to me.
It's just Terminator 2, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they go into the future, but they do it so badly that most people who go into the future end up dying. And not from being killed by the aliens, but being
falling out of the sky.
A great height. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it now.
But being dropped from a great height. And then Chris Pratt saves everything. And I was just like, yeah, cool.
It's one of those that's like Doom. It should have just been a computer game movie.
Yeah. Rainfall for me is kind of the same thing. I already know Aussies in general are some of the nicest people I've ever met, but I also know they are capable of great racism. And Rainfall, everybody's just like, "You're right, mate. You're right, mate. Oh, look, we can't help them. They're the grey," and that's it. That's the film. And I'm not being bad. If any nation was to save the world, look, I've got lots of friends who are Aussies. Australia isn't a place that saves the world. I'm not being bad.
God, he doesn't know.
No, no. It's just like aliens wouldn't even bother invading. Australia's so dangerous, aliens wouldn't bother invading it. Do you know what I mean? It's just Australia's somewhere that, it's just dangerous and it will kill you if you stay there too long. Okay? They have the deadliest everything in Australia, and aliens would just be like, nah, bro. Why would we want to go there? But yeah, that film, and it cheated me with it's actually the first in what will probably be a trilogy, but they don't tell you that until the last minute of the film. And I think that's personally quite unforgivable. And I don't care how
on the cover it says chapter 1. Up on the cover of the movie, it says chapter 1.
It didn't, on anything I saw, it didn't say that. But if they're saying that's on there, then that's fine. I didn't like, wow. I was just like, wow, okay.
Well, it's kind of, I think it's kind of like Dune. I think anyone that went to see Dune that wasn't familiar with Dune, like, end the chapter 1, they were like, what?
Well, yeah, these films hurt my feelings. Next up on the list is Stargirl, but only not because it was necessarily a bad season, but the first season of Stargirl was quite enjoyable. The second season, I think, was, again, the bad acting, really bad script writing. I don't know how they end up doing the same sort of, a character spends an entire season go, should I ask this person out? Am I falling in love with this person? Should I don't care.
Riverdale.
Yeah, it's just, what's the point? I know they get you loads of views, but what's the point? I don't get it. Anyway, but that's on the list. Next, Mortal Kombat. I remember being a young man. I think it was the 90s.
You loved it when you watched it.
No, the first 10 minutes is superb. The first 10 minutes of Mortal Kombat are actually a really good introduction to the whole thing, right? But after that 10 minutes, it quickly becomes a type of film that you're sat there going, like, the bad guys come on the screen. It's like, why would anybody work for him? Like, if you get something wrong, you die. And everybody in the film, I think the budget was so low, everybody in the film, especially the bad guys, spent a lot of time walking around inexplicably. Like, they're just walking around in the desert. And I'm like, what's going on exactly? What's the point of this? And it makes no sense. And it's got that guy who was Boomerang in it.
Captain Boomerang to you.
Captain Boomerang. He plays, is it Kano, the one with the laser eye?
Mm.
And it gives you a really stupid explanation of why he's got a laser eye. Now, apparently in Mortal Kombat, anybody who's chosen to fight has a special, like, gift. They're not told what it is. They'll just find out at some point. And his gift was laser vision. And that was it. That's the explanation.
Like Cable.
No, but I see where you're going with that one. Frank, did you see Mortal Kombat? Was that?
You know what? I watched about half of it and lost interest.
Yeah, it was a bad film in every single way.
Well,
like I said, I still want to ask the question: where do they get the money for this? Like, who keeps giving these people money to make these films, and nobody notices how shit it is?
The People's Republic of.
Like,
get stoned together.
Cork.
It's like at some point, does nobody sit down and go, "Oh, is this going to be a good idea?" Like, so let me get this straight, Keith. We've given you $5 million to develop the script, and your key moment is when they discover their powers, and it's because you've given somebody laser eye. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's roll with this one. Just an especially bad film. The special effects are quite decent in it, but like I said, there's something. If half of your movie is spent following the bad guys around who are just walking in the desert, I don't get it. When it makes clear they're able to teleport wherever they want to, why would you spend it walking around in the desert? I didn't get it. It made no sense to me. But that was again another HBO special. And like I said, I just didn't enjoy it. Not a fan of it at all. Next up, I have, and this may be a strange one for you all, but Jungle Cruise. Have you all seen Jungle Cruise? Have anybody watched Jungle Cruise?
I actually like Jungle Cruise.
I definitely did not.
Saw a bit of it.
Yeah, but then you didn't have to sit around with a 4-year-old watching it, so I didn't mind it.
No, so why was I watching it? That's the question.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise is in there because I think at the end of the day, it's another. I don't know how long The Rock's going to be able to continue doing this.
Well, he's going to run for office, so
yeah,
probably not long.
He just seems to keep doing this sort of
he's
invulnerable thing. He's literally a god. Like, his character's gone from being a tough guy.
You do realize this is The Rock you're on about. The guy is a god.
He's a god in every film.
He's a god in real life.
No. And literally it's just, and now he's going to play. There'll be no difference between his character in Jungle Cruise and Black Adam, where he's actually playing a god.
Moana, he was a god.
Where he played a god.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't hate The Rock, but I think Jungle Cruise is meant to be their new Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think if all it is that The Rock's invulnerable, I don't know where it's going to go. Really, because what's the point? Do you know what I mean? It's like fighting in a invulnerable Superman. If you're a villain, why would you bother?
Well,
so that's unfortunately had to go on the list. I didn't really want it to, but it had to go on there. My next one is, I guess, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh yes, Curtis put the Justice League on there, but for slightly different reasons.
Did you put it above Army of the Dead?
No, it's below Army. How did you know I've got Army? I didn't show you.
I just know how much you love Zack Snyder so much.
Zack Snyder's got a good innings on this one, baby. But yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Look, when I say it's on my worst list, I watched it and I was just like, I don't hate Zack Snyder. I just think he's a fanboy. And fanboys shouldn't be making the things they love the most, because all they do is watching someone make a film about characters he loves. And he puts every single thing he loves about these characters in the film, but it just doesn't work. The villain's not that impressive. There's no build up to it all. And also, I think he's got a really bad habit of writing female characters really badly. And it comes out in this film a lot, I think. And also 3.5 hours. Why not just do 10 episodes and just whatever. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth the amount of effort they put into it. And again, it just puts Ben Affleck in a really bad position. I feel really sorry for Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck I've loved ever since Mallrats. And I just think he had the perfect chin for Batman, and that's the best they could do with him.
Shame about the rest.
Yeah.
Great chin.
He's actually,
Great.
you watch Ben Affleck in certain films like The Accountant. He's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, if he gets the right, if he has
He's got the right role. Like Gone Girl, he's brilliant in that.
Yeah.
You know, he's done a lot of really good films. But he's done most actors. He's done really, really good independent films. But when it comes to a big budget one, he just gets casted wrong.
But was the Batman and Superman the first one he was Batman, or there was one before that, right?
No, that's the first one. Batman versus Superman.
Just a weird start to it.
Martha. Yeah.
Weird. That was just weird altogether.
I was watching Batman vs Superman. I was like,
how do you know that name?
Yeah. I was like, no. And then what made it worse for me was Lex Luthor being more like the Joker. Because what he did was something that the Joker would probably do. Lex Luthor can't be that stupid that he thinks that Batman would kill Superman. And this is where I didn't like what they did with Ben Affleck. Batman's meant to be the world's greatest detective. In this, he was just a thug. And it made no sense to me why he was acting the way he was. And also, what they did with Wonder Woman didn't make any sense. Wonder Woman was aware of Darkseid, and she should have been the one to get everybody together, not Batman.
She was just the eye candy.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty disappointing, but, you know, it's my list. My other big disappointment on there, it should have been the king of all movies. It should have been the greatest monster film of all time. But it was actually pretty damp. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Godzilla versus Kong. I think I went to
really?
the cinema.
You put it that high up on your shit list?
Yeah,
wow, that's quite impressive.
No,
I actually thought it was a good movie.
It was, for me, it was a pretty bad film. I mean,
I actually thought it was pretty good.
I grew up watching the old King Kong films, especially Godzilla.
Oh yeah, but
the old
you are that old, aren't you? When he was made out of plasticine.
I don't like you, man. Next on my list is Big Dave. No, King of the Monsters was all right as a film, and I was expecting big things from the sequel, but really, it just went in a direction which, again, there was just too much going on there. It introduced these things like Hollow Earth, and God, the Mecha Godzilla, and I was just like, this stopped being entertaining a while ago.
When Mecha Godzilla came into that film, it reminded me of Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
It just turned to Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
And anyway,
I get where you're coming from, being like a bad film, but I don't think it's that bad of a film.
No,
it's just messy, though. Don't you think it just gets messy?
You're telling me the Snyder Cut is a better film than Godzilla?
No, I think they're equally shit. Godzilla versus Kong was disappointing again because they literally, like I said, it ended up looking like guys in suits, even though the whole point that it wasn't meant to look like that. It ended up looking like guys in suits. I'm not being bad. I love Kong, but who would have thought that, a giant monkey with a bone could beat a nuclear-powered super giant lizard? Whose idea was that's not an even fight? Yeah, it was never.
Did you never see Kong of Skull Island?
I did, but there was no.
This monkey took away nuclear bombs, man. Come on.
Yeah.
A nuclear-powered giant lizard.
That was great.
A nuclear-powered giant lizard that can swim, that can jump, that can blow a hole through the earth to its hollow core. Apparently, Kong had no chance. That was never ever going to happen.
I'm Kong all the way. Sorry, I'm Team Kong.
Oh, that's fine. It's up to you, but I'm just saying, no, I don't think that was very good. My next on the list is again Army of the Dead. And I know it's another Snyder one, but it's not because of Snyder I didn't enjoy this film. Well, it is.
It had no story.
what? Why? Do you know what I mean? The whole thing I end up always asking is why with these films? And they got this really good cast together, but the whole idea of committing a robbery, right? Why would you go anywhere near zombies, especially the zombies in this film? They weren't the slow moving type. They were the fast paced zombies, and they're zombie dogs. Why would you go up and get what for money? There's no money on earth that anybody should be going in there for. But it had a great cast. But it just was like, why? Netflix really need, before Netflix give anybody more money and go, here's some more cash for you, son. They really need to start asking where this money's going to. Like, what's it's going on? Because the special effects weren't that great. They had this whole story about the zombies evolving, which they didn't make much of at all. And in the end, I was just like, okay, cool. Thank you for coming. And I hate it because I don't want to be evil to Zack Snyder. He's not a bad guy. But yeah, I was like, wow.
You have to blame him though, because it is his movie.
Okay, Zack Snyder, fuck you.
Yeah, no, but
it's his movie. He's the director. You know, if Quentin Tarantino done a bad film, you say, Quentin Tarantino, what the hell did you do there, mate?
Quentin Tarantino's films are bad films.
No, they're not bad films.
They're just highly.
I know there's a lot more bad ones than there is good ones, but
B movies. I just like
yeah, but that's how he wants it to be.
Yeah, which is fine. But I'm not a big Tarantino fan. Even though I think he single-handedly gave us one of the greatest movie moments ever. I think, yeah. But anyway,
what moment? Which moment is that?
The Pulp Fiction. Bruce Willis in the shop, and I was like, I'd never seen anything like it. And I was in a cinema at the time it was at college, and we'd done this thing with another uni. And after the clubbing, we all went to cinema afterwards. The cinema was packed. People sitting on the stairs everywhere watching Pulp Fiction. And I swear to you that moment that everybody saw what was happening to Mr. Marcellus, everybody literally went, oh my God, and turned from the screen. That's how shocking it was at the moment that happened. And it was like, I give him credit. I've very rarely seen people turn away from the screen and go, I can't believe this is happening. But yeah, good credit to him. I can't take it away from him.
That the ball gag moment.
Yeah.
Bring in the gimp.
And again, this list is just a general list of stuff.
You must be nearly there.
Yeah, we're nearly there. What's the final one? I saw this. I think I saw this in September. But Snake Eyes. G.I. Joe is a franchise that needs to die.
Oh, you watched that over Christmas.
Was it over Christmas?
Yeah. You told me you said it's on sale. Why don't you go and watch it?
No, it's not that this film was particularly bad. I watched it because everybody was raving about it before Shang-Chi came out. Because of the martial arts. And the martial arts are all right. But the reason why this is on the list isn't necessarily because it's a bad film. It's just because it's not good enough. G.I. Joe either needs to die or they need somebody can write a sentence without breaking up in laughter at what they're writing. Because Snake Eyes it's badly written, badly paced, badly produced. Its budget isn't big enough. The action scenes aren't great enough. And G.I. Joe, this is the third time they've done a G.I. Joe project. And
Has there been a G.I. Joe yet?
Yeah, there's been two of them. Didn't they call the first and second one G.I. Joe?
I don't know. They were all called G.I. Joe, weren't they? But I don't think there's actually been a Joe yet.
I can't remember. It was just they're just bad films. And I do wish that somebody would put some effort into making them at least, if it's a kid's film, make it a kid's film. But don't put these as family movies or adult entertainment, because it's not. Ninjas stopped being cool a long time ago.
In the 80s.
Huh? In the 80s, yeah. After American Ninja 12. Frank, what do you think of that list? Is there anything on there that you managed to see?
I'd agree with you. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I mean, I think Dave's list maybe had some more stuff that I would have sort of.
Well, there are a few things I didn't
picked.
put on there, like Jupiter's Legacy, which is bad. But
Dave's list would
didn't
be
quite
more
make it.
just closer to stuff I was aware of, kind of thing.
Oh, so you're saying Dave's
Curtis
close to the
Curtis was 70% movies. That's why.
No, but I think, yeah, I can definitely get the impression you're not mad on Zack Snyder. But you wonder what the scenario is like. I would wonder if there's a way to figure out where the highest grossing countries are for particular movies, right?
The United States has the second biggest market. China
China's probably
theoretically
the
has the
first,
biggest
right?
market.
Yeah.
Trouble is though
But
with most of
they've
these
stopped putting
movies now
American
because
films on in
they're all on
China.
streaming services, and it's all down to people that have watched it. It doesn't go down as how long they watched it for.
Mm.
So I could put a film on, watch 10 minutes, go, "This is absolutely shite," and walk off.
No, but the streaming
it-
service.
Still get
the
it,
streaming service knows you've watched it, and they'll put that down
No,
as a rating of being
they
watched.
know how much you're watching of it. And that's why I think certain projects like Cowboy Bebop were cancelled. People weren't watching it all the way through. And
Well,
they
the
know
fact that
this
it was
now.
absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
That should have been on the list, but I only watched one episode.
Jupiter's Legacy didn't make it on the list because I did watch it all the way through and I didn't hate it. I just think it wasn't good enough. And Cowboy Bebop, I never finished watching, so I didn't feel.
Cowboy Bebop, I've watched 1.5 episodes, so I couldn't give it a meta rating.
Okay, the top list now, Dave. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. In no particular order. Fire
I'm not
away.
sure. I'm not
what's
sure
your
with number 10. I'm not sure with number 10. I've got a list of quite a few for number 10. Okay. No, for number 10 it's quite hard because I've got like 6 that missed out the top 10.
Okay.
And I don't.
Go for it.
I'm gonna put in number 10. Big Sky.
Okay, Big Sky.
I can't believe that got in there because Stumptown was a very good program, but it only got one season and it got cancelled, so I have to keep that out. But it was very good,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't believe the others that missed out were like The Witcher, Sweet Tooth, Sex Education, The Boys, Finch. There's quite big things that missed out here.
Did we have The Boys last year?
Last year we had The Boys, yeah.
Okay.
I think that was like quite high up. But hey, let's go for it. Black Widow. I actually really enjoyed it. It was like a big delay. But when I did get to watch it, because I waited for it to come out free on Disney Plus, I actually quite enjoyed it.
Okay. Next.
And I think it's because I was waiting so long for it. I did enjoy it. Next after that is The Bad Batch.
Okay. All right.
Frank, you seen The Bad Batch?
No.
Do you know who The Bad Batch are?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, but see, we don't get all the same stuff over here either.
You'd get The Bad Batch.
I've never seen
That's on Disney. That's on
It's
Disney.
a Star Wars show.
Okay.
But you're not a big Star Wars guy, are you?
I am. The movies. I just can't keep track of how much shit they're making right now. Do you know what I mean? Though it's like between the 9 movies and
How many movies?
Officially the 9.
There's like 12 now.
Why? Counting what, the Obi-Wan movie?
Well, you got Solo. You got Rogue One.
All right, but
Yeah.
let's
Yeah, but I'm saying let's
keep moving forward.
The original. Okay.
original.
Where are we on? Number 7.
Yeah, you've done Bad Batch. Yep.
Okay, number 7. Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Was that last year?
Well, it just came out over Christmas, mate. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, not Homecoming. What's the Far From
Multiverse.
Home? The new one.
Oh,
Yeah.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Okay, I typed it in wrong. Yeah, number 7 is No Way Home. It was okay, but it could have been so much better. There's a lot of no-nos on there for me. That's why it's only on number 7. It could have been up the top, but it had Andrew Garfield in it, and they killed Aunt May, so that lowered it down. Next, you might like this. Number 6, Invincible.
Okay.
Never read the comics, never heard of it before. Curtis said, "You got to watch this cartoon on Amazon. You'll love it." And I've never seen so much blood, gore, swearing. It was a completely amazing cartoon. Probably the best I've seen in many a year. And that deserves a second season.
Okay.
Unlike the next one that's on the list that doesn't deserve any second season or third season. It's the Squid Game. Absolutely loved it. But that's how it should stay. Just a one season wonder. Now there's another one they're just going to milk the tits out of because it was so popular. Just leave it. It's done. You've done 10 episodes of complete carnage. It was funny. It's done. Next show. That's all I need to do.
Fair enough. What number's that?
That was number 6. Now we're down to the top 5. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Shang-Chi. I absolutely love this film, and I don't know why because it wasn't that good. Shang-Chi.
Okay, I'm surprised.
I actually really enjoyed it. I've watched it 3 times.
Love it. Huh?
Yeah, and the first time I thought, it's not that good. It's all right. And then I watched it again, and I thought, oh my god, this is even better than watching it in the cinema.
Mm.
And yeah, it's a really good film. And I can see why it opened up the Asian market.
Well, it didn't get released in China though.
Yeah, but in Korea and stuff, it did.
Yeah,
and it was quite big, and you can see why. After that, this was a hard one because I never watched the first season. I did start watching it when it first came out, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a slow burner. And then I got back to it because I got Apple TV, and it was C. I watched season 1 and season 2.
Oh yeah. My buddy.
It is probably one of the best things I've ever seen. The fight scenes are amazing. It's so gory. I absolutely love it.
A friend of mine is in that show. They filmed that in Toronto.
Is his name Jason Momoa?
No. But, Momoa was living over the road. But that's all filmed like just close to where we were. But it's good.
Actually, really good.
Yeah, your woman's good. I think your woman's really good in it, right?
The Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I will. She's like the female Bane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the next one's a bit of conspiracy because this is Frank's favorite. Only Murderers in the Building.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna put my second place one now, but I think it deserves to be up there. It's so slapstick comedy, and I've just missed Martin Short and Co together. They're just so funny. I love old comedy sort of stuff. It just reminded me of like The Jerk and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nathan Lane Martin as well, right?
Yeah, it's just so it brought me back to like old 80s comedy.
If anything, I just felt like she let it down a bit.
Who, Selena Gomez?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then she's got that boring persona, hasn't she? So that's what they needed. Instead of them being so hyped up, they need someone to lower them down.
Yeah.
And then it's second one is everyone's favorite, Ted Lasso. Ultimate genius comedy, and it's only filmed around the corner in Richmond. Absolutely brilliant comedy.
Haven't watched it yet.
You need to watch it. You'll be in stitches. Have a couple of gummies.
You'll love it. You'll
be well
absolutely love it.
It's literally filmed in Richmond, and you'd love it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so good. And the number one, is all Marvel TV shows apart from the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh wow! Oh, okay, that's harsh.
Yeah, all the Marvel TV shows apart from that. I couldn't choose from the Marvel TV shows because otherwise I would have taken up most of the list. Because WandaVision was brilliant, Hawkeye was brilliant, What If was excellent. You know, it's just too hard to choose off of those ones. So I put them all in the same bracket as one big bundle.
Apart from Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Well, no, it's the worst out of the lot of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you know it is.
Well,
I'm not going to say like I'm not going to say it's like deserves like
bro. You're allowed.
That it's not like high on the top 10 list, but out of all the Marvel programs, it was the bottom one out of the lot.
I'm fine with that. No.
It was the worst Marvel TV show this year.
I disagree, but no, that's cool.
What do you think was better than what out of the Marvel shows? Do you think was better than that? Was worse than that?
It wasn't. I enjoyed them all.
I enjoyed them all. That's what I'm saying. But the Winter Soldier was the worst out of all the Marvel TV shows this year.
Okay, no, I'm cool with that. I'm cool.
I know Loki was just as bad, but hey.
Oh, now you're looking for a fight. No. I'm not gonna bite.
But you can do. It's your turn.
Okay, so no, well, Frank, how are you with that list? Were you all right with that list? You happy with?
No, that's
he hasn't heard of most of
them. Before I start my list, there's a lot of honourable mentions that I must make. Okay, this is the hardest list I've ever done because I think the quality of stuff that's been good this year has been spectacularly good, and it's really hard to knock a lot of it out.
Well, I have to. That's what I'm saying.
Let me just say all the stuff that I really, really enjoyed without which aren't in the list. First of all, Ghostbusters, that's not on the list. Afterlife, I thought was very entertaining. It was quite sweet. Like Cobra Kai, it's a throwback to the 80s, but that's not on the list. Lost in Space Season 3, I think it was a nice short season. It was very, very entertaining. I really, really enjoyed it.
I didn't make it to Season 3.
Yeah, it did.
No, I didn't make it to Season 3. I didn't even get past Season 2.
I really, really enjoyed it. Gunpowder Milkshake, I thought was different enough.
You were lucky that went on my bad list.
Hey. It had a really great cast, really good use of Michelle Yeoh, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Hard They Fall. It should have been in my top 10 list because I haven't enjoyed a Western as much as I've enjoyed Hard They Fall. With
is that the racist movie?
Cast. Huh?
Is that the racist movie?
No, it wasn't racist. But I really, really enjoyed that one. I thought it was a superb
sure?
Western.
Sure, it went racist. Okay.
Yeah, I'm certain.
Okay.
The next one is The Nevers, which I was introduced to that by the Big Dave. I thought that was quite a good season. It was
only because one of the actors was one of my customers, and he told me to watch the show, and it's actually really good.
That was quite a good show. It's available on Sky One, and it's basically X-Men. The Nevers.
The Nevers.
It's basically the X-Men in a sort of steampunk Victorian England, but everybody's talking like that, you know. And these
based in the 1800s.
Yeah, and that was quite good. Foundation. It's not in there because it was good, but it's the first season.
That just missed out on my shit list.
It wasn't spectacular. It should have been.
That Invasion. They were on the cusp of the top 10.
The next one is a lot of people had but it was an anime called Demon Slayer. I thought that was really, really good. It came out last year. It's amazingly popular on the streaming services. And it was just a really sweet, good story about a young man whose family gets slaughtered and sister gets turned into a sort of zombie vampire creature, and follows his story in his attempt to redeem her, but also protect people from monsters, which is really good. This one surprised me because it should have been in the top 10, but I just couldn't find a way to squeeze it in. Invincible. Enjoyed it.
Put it in.
Because it was the first season. I've read it before.
But you read it. I've never read it, so
yeah, it was okay. It was really entertaining. But I think as a first season, it could have been a bit better. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it will end up in the top 10 at some point during its run. But yeah, I couldn't put it in there.
Good luck,
Star
it,
Trek
Frank. It's all about
Discovery.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery. I wanted to put in the top 10, but we've only got half a season for this year, and that's it. So I didn't.
And it's
put
Star
it in there.
Trek.
But I think it will be in there at some point, as I love my Star Trek Discovery and Pennyworth. Pennyworth is a series that I keep telling people they need to watch.
It's a hard one to watch because we don't get it.
I think it's brilliant. I think
I
it's
had
one of
to.
the best.
I had to do it dodgy on Dodgy Nigel to watch the first season.
But you enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best, like, Batman character, but no Batman in its shows I've ever seen. It does what I wish shows like Smallville had done.
Good luck, it, Frank. It's got Pomola Faith.
Oh yeah.
And the casts are gorgeous. The stories are great, and it's like set in a sort of slightly different version of England.
Like the
but
60s.
It's very on the nose about British culture, about snobbery, about racism, and how much they're just bastards. But it's a great show, and I'd advise anybody to watch it. And this one I didn't put in there just because, again, it was a great show, but I just couldn't put it in there. Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I wanted to put it in my top 10, but it just doesn't make it. But not because it's bad. I think it's a great show. But even I could tell watching it. Hold on. Yeah. Even I could tell watching it, it had a few, like, COVID hit. And there were lots of weird moments in it that you're watching again. But it had one of the best introductions of a character I've seen in a long time. But I just couldn't put it in my top 10. But I did enjoy it. Right. Whew. Number 10. Okay. I've only just watched this film today. But I think it's one of the best Bond films ever. No Time to Die. A lot of people hate it. But I think I know what they're going to do with the next Bond film. And it's not what people think it is. I think they're going to do a remake of You Only Live Twice. Because it would fit perfectly onto the end of this film. I quite
with Bond.
I enjoyed it because there were some proper stakes in it. And I loved the cast. I thought they were brilliant. And just the way some of the scenes played out were amazing. But it's probably the most Bond film that I'd seen in ages. It's like everything about it was very, very James Bond. The supervillain, the dangerous virus, the love, the whole lot. And just, I love the cast of this film more than I've loved in the Bond film.
I thought the fact that there was a dangerous virus that was going to escape and shut the world down was a bit...
That seems like reality.
I remember watching it and going, hang on. And I was like, when did they film this? And there was, it was actually filmed before COVID. I was oh, Jesus.
But I thought it was really, really well done, and I really enjoyed it, and I felt a lot of the emotion in it. The one thing I think they should have followed up on that they didn't is what Mallory
the shots.
In that the British government were using dangerous... the British government were using dangerous chemical warfare, and they sort of followed it up on it in the first part of the film, but then stopped. And it would have been nice if M was held accountable for that, which he never was. And I think that's a bit sad because I'd never seen a Bond film do that. Like literally Bond taking on the British government at one point in the film. And I think that's very much a shame they didn't follow up on that. And it would have been nice if they did that at some point in the future. But I think they will be brought back. I don't think this is Bond's last film.
Yeah, you really think I'm actually not listening because I haven't watched it.
Well, I don't want to give out in a way, but I did think there was a bit of it that was a bit like Austin Powers.
Oh yeah.
Did he ask for $1 million?
No, Curtis. No, you know the bit I'm talking about.
The Killer Sharks.
It was just a bit like
but at
the same
bastard.
time. But at the same time, it was. No, at the same time, it was a lot. It was sort of like they referenced a lot of the old ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Constantly, they were making puns literally all throughout the film.
Yeah, well,
about
just the fact that
films.
The fact that they go to the GoldenEye house as well.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't know. What do you think for the next one? Don't you think they're going to basically?
I think
just
You
do
Only
a
Live Twice will be the next one. So
Is that the
You Only
one-
Live Twice, they
that the
bring
one in
Bond
New
back from the
Orleans?
dead. What's that?
Is that the one in New Orleans?
No, I think it's the one where he's taking on like a sort of North Korean dictator or something, because he comes back from the dead. He gets shot at the start of the film in China or Japan, and then he
that's
comes
the one
back.
with Blofeld, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that'll be, I think that'll be the next Bond film, because it would make sense.
Who's it
But
going to be?
They do some really weird experiments to bring him back, from the dead, and I know Bond will always return.
I think they should start doing cameos in Bond now of all the old James Bonds before they would die.
Oh, Dave! This film, literally, if you are any sort of Bond aficionado, you will notice a fair few faces in one particular scene, and it just works quite well. I really, really enjoyed it. And considering the film was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, I didn't have any issue with it over that period of time. And like I said, I think
worth the fiver then.
Huh?
So it's worth
For
the
me,
fiver,
it was. Most people might not enjoy it, but it was the most Bond film. Like, I don't get why people were mad at it. It was like about as Bond as you could get, and I think it worked. And Bond's a badass, and some characters do take the piss out of him a little bit, but I think it works.
Saw it at a drive-in.
Right, now, before I go on too long, because again, that was my number 10. My number 9.
Maybe a 2-hour show.
Yeah, WandaVision was in at number 9. I think that was a fantastic first season of that show. It was a nice introduction of Wanda, and it didn't go down a path of her losing control of her powers permanently and going crazy. It just sort of went. She was emotional. She was suffering grief.
This is why I put them all together, because it's just too many, too much, too hard.
Yeah, and I think it was. I enjoyed it greatly. I watched it more than once. And I think it was a really good first season for Disney. I think they need to stop doing 10 episodes and do more, or have longer episodes, because they keep doing this thing where the episodes even finish.
Well, I just don't know why they just don't do like amalgamate these episodes of each other.
Yeah, they just do longer episodes and get more story out, and stop playing tricks on the audience.
Falcon and Winter Soldier could have been a movie.
Yeah, well, it should have been.
That should have just been a movie straight up, and then that would have been okay.
But I think, yeah, WandaVision was a lot of fun. It was like a really good mystery, a bit spooky, a bit kooky, and obviously had one of the biggest breakout stars of the year.
Cruella. Oh no, sorry, wrong movie.
And she's already got her own. She's already got her own series for Disney Plus as well. So
Old Agnes.
Credit to them on doing that. It was a very good launch, extremely impressive, and it deserves a place in the top 10. But I
think it all went downhill after that.
It was Agatha all along.
It did, because that was the good thing about WandaVision. It was all about the guessing game.
Yeah,
where the others are all like, oh, just this, just that. You could have just watched the movie.
Next up, might surprise people, Hawkeye.
Well, that was going to be my number 1 until I put them all together.
No, sorry, it's not Hawkeye. Squid Games. Sorry. Sorry. Next one up was Squid Games. Loved that show. I think it's been hyped up a bit too much, but I think it's the game aspect that people loved about the venue.
You're saying the same as me. Let's just leave it. One and done. One season and done.
It depends what they do. If they get a good script writer in, I don't mind them doing another season, but they better not. It better not be a lackluster one. It better be.
But they're talking about 2, 3, 4 seasons. It's like,
again, it depends what they do. I don't mind. Like I said, if it goes in the direction of Fast and Furious, I'm out.
Well, it's going to, isn't it? Because they don't know when to stop. Once the cash cow starts cashing in the cash.
Frank, did you get Squid Games? Was that a show that?
Yeah, you know what? I basically was working one day, and your man I was working with started telling me about it, and he basically gave me a scene-by-scene play out of the whole thing.
You know, Frank lives like next to a little career.
Yeah.
So He lives in the Squid Game.
yeah. And I'm poor, so it's perfect.
Well,
No, it's the weirdest thing I've seen though is that Squid Game. You know, it's like any of them, but Squid Game particularly, sort of you start to see it seep into everyday life. Like you start to see, especially Halloween, there was a lot of costumes and stuff. But now there's a trend, like there's people having Squid Game weddings in Toronto. I know. Where they'd have you like reenact one of the games to get like your dinner.
Which I can see. A lot of those
that's
games
when
are
I'd be just going home. I'd be like,
so there's 120 men after one bride. Red light.
yeah. Everyone shows up.
Well,
you don't actually know who's gonna marry her. Whoever's alive at the end of this.
I know that somebody did a thing where you could win like $50,000 or whatever. Some YouTuber did their own version of the Squid Games. You can win $50,000. I know a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of that moving forward. But at the same time, good on them. I if they can do a better story, then fine. If they mess it up, that's their problem. I'll always have the first season.
But it's like Dave says, it's like, you know, let it be, just let it be as good as it was and move on and don't ruin it. But once you start getting
it's like the Goonies. They've never remade it because it was a classic and you leave it.
Yeah, and it's
and
it's
now
like
so dated, you leave it.
Yeah, but you know, but the problem is then as soon as they start,
there'll be people like us in 20 years' time going, "Oh, do you remember Squid Game?" And they sit back and they all get nostalgia and they all come back again.
Yeah, but it's the merch. Like, think of how much money they're making off merch, right? Like they're selling merch right now, and they're going, all right, well, fuck, if we make another one, then we'll get.
Well, Netflix is already investing in a second season. And possibly
next 2 seasons.
There's no guarantee. I think they haven't announced it yet, but they're negotiating as we speak.
On negotiations, he's going to do 2 or 3, and that'll be it.
But I hope the writer gets paid big bucks because apparently he that script's been around for 10 years, and he didn't get any money from Netflix on the first season. So I hope he gets a bit of cash for this one. Next up, Hawkeye. Love that show. I thought it was again another good innings from Disney. I don't like the lack of episodes again, which was why it's not higher, but I did enjoy it and I thought it was quite a good innings from Disney.
You know what I loved about it the most?
What's that?
They brought in one of my favorite bad guys, and they brought the guy from Netflix who played Winston Fisk really well. And that is why I enjoyed it so much, because he played it really well, and they brought him back.
A lot of people didn't like it online. They did not like his performance in that, but I thought it was.
He was exactly like he was in Daredevil.
I know, but it was more the getting
blown up and being shot. And
being
a pussy.
I kind of get that, but at the same time,
that's been Disney-fied, hasn't it?
It's Disney. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not gonna get an adult version of Disney. It's not going to happen.
That's why they didn't show him getting shot, and that's why is he alive or not? And we all know he is alive.
Next up, because we already did a review of Hawkeye, didn't we? So I won't get into that too deep.
Yeah.
Next up is the big man, the Jason Momoa with C, which is a show I caught on Apple TV. Absolutely brilliant. I love that show. I binge watched it. The first season's tough to get through, but after the first season, it just rolls.
The first
on.
2 episodes is hard.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show. It's set in a world where everybody's blind, and they create a culture for it. They create a societal structure. They create law. They create good guys and bad guys, and it just works really, really well. The first episode's hard because it tries to be shocking for the sake of being shocking a lot of time in the first episode, especially when there's a scene on it where it's like, you must lick the royal vagina. I was watching that. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, cool. And outside of that, it reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And now it's on my, every time that comes up, I join up to Apple. I'm there. But next up is Only Murderers in the Building. I think that is such a good show. It's daunting. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. It was nice to see Steve Martin back. I think the cast is great, and I think it really shows, in a way, the positive side of the internet. Because I remember one of the internet's become kind of like Mos Eisley, in a sense that it's just people angry and annoyed all the time. But one of the best things about the internet was podcasts, and there were those podcasts where people would solve crimes that had never been solved or never resolved. And this reminded me of that, and the fact they had such a varied cast in terms of age as well worked to its advantage. Absolutely loved it. It didn't get too cheesy, even when Sting appeared. But I really think it was a good show.
You know what? I blanked that episode out.
I thought that was great. I still think it could be Sting.
Well, we'll see, because it's been commissioned for season 2, unlike so many other Disney shows. It's made it for season 2.
Rest in peace, Rebel. That needed a second.
Yeah, and I'm
series.
really looking forward to that. Next up is Spider-Man: No Way Home. The reason why it's not higher up in the list, okay, is
because Andrew Garfield's in it.
No, it's because it's a great celebration of Spider-Man. It really is. It's like a celebration of everything that you love about Spider-Man for the past 30 odd years, or whatever it is. And it does it really well. But I just, again, it could have been better. And if it could have been better, it should have been better. And I think it suffers from all the same problems that Disney always has had.
Well, I said to you, the cast was too big and there's too much.
No, but for me, it was the way that, again, you mentioned it before. Sony always have these nighttime final scenes. All the final scenes in their special effects heavy films take place during the nighttime. The only exception, and I know these superhero films struggle with that a lot, but if the Avengers managed it, and the Avengers came out, 12 years ago? The final scene of the Avengers takes place during the day.
Even Ultron's during the day.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But for some reason, all these superhero films finish during the night. Even Ghostbusters Afterlife during the night.
That's Sony as well, though, isn't it?
I don't know whether the special effects just aren't good enough to do daytime special effects.
Well, but I think got a good enough green screen.
Yeah. But I think that it sort of spoilt the film a bit for me. But there you go. I mean, it's Spider-Man. Apart from that, it was still very enjoyable. I really liked it, but it's not at the top of the list. What's next, may you ask, ladies and gentlemen? What could I possibly put on my list?
What number are we on? Is that your list is so high?
I'm up to, I've got the last 3 now.
Okay, so that was number 4.
Rolling. Yeah. Number 3 is Mayor of Easttown. Mayor of Easttown came out of nowhere.
It came out of HBO Max's asshole.
There's no need. There's no need. So Mayor
I haven't watched it.
Easttown,
That's why I haven't put it on any of my lists.
It's basically about a detective in a small Pennsylvania town who's investigating local murders and stuff like that. And the cast alone is worth the effort. You've got Kate Winslet playing a 40-something cop, and she does it so well. I mean, she looks rough, but she does it so well. It's really good. And then you've got Gene Smart's in it, and what's his name? Old Quicksilver is in it as well, and he's really good. His character goes through it.
One? What Quicksilver?
Huh?
One of the WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which one?
He's really good in it. And I just think, as a series, it was fantastic to watch. Guy Pearce pops up as well. And I think it was up for awards. I don't know if it has won awards yet.
It won an Emmy, didn't it?
But it's just brilliant, and it's all on Kate Winslet. And I think it's getting a second season, and I can't wait for that to happen. But It's not the top of my list. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is.
I know you got another one. That was number 3.
Yeah, that was number 3. Next up on the list is the God of Mischief, because he played Mischief with me here a lot. But I think Loki has been Disney's best outing. It was definitely the most imaginative in terms of what it introduced. But I just thought it was the best out of a lot. It really did take you on a bit of a journey, an emotional roller coaster. But I think also the cast. My God.
You actually thought that was better than
Loki.
WandaVision?
Huh?
You actually thought Loki was better than WandaVision?
Absolutely. I think it was just better all round.
No.
I think Tom Hiddleston sort of got to play around with the role a lot. But also Owen Wilson. It was nice to have him back. I can't, I think with this it introduced a lot more.
You only want it because they've introduced another character that's gonna introduce something else.
Yeah, but I think it was really weird. Sophia Di Martino was fantastic. I think she played a female version of the old Loki as well. And she was excellent. I think the entire cast really, really stood out. And I just there was an episode that wasn't great for me. Whereas WandaVision, I think
We have to go back to this because to me that went up there for me.
That's all right, but that's why it's my list.
Yeah, that is why it's your list. That's why I put all these Disney programs in the same box. So that way, there's no argument.
That's all right. You're allowed to chicken out. But no,
chicken out.
Loki.
Otherwise, it would just be Disney Plus and Apple.
Right. So, but Loki. No, ladies and gentlemen, Loki is not the top of the list. No,
You got Ted Lasso, ain't you?
The number one, the most outstanding show of 2021.
You got Ted.
Hold on, can you stop? It came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere to take a place in our hearts, and it made an old man who didn't really care about football start to care about football. With its I don't know, almost like loving touch.
Where's the moustache?
Old school, but inclusive. Like it's about as woke as a show could get, but nobody will accuse it of being that because it's so damn successful. It had an amazing.
It's so
cast.
good. I got my mum to watch it.
It had an amazing cast of people that a lot of people, perhaps apart from John Sudeikis, none of them were particularly well known. But what performances we got from people like John Sudeikis as Ted Lasso. Brilliant. Brett Goldstein as Roy Kent.
Roy Kent is my hero.
He literally starts the show off with like, "Oi, what? Fuck off!
Fuck off! Fuck off!"
And ends up becoming one of the most lovable characters in the entire show. Brendan Hunt as the almost a character that doesn't say much but has such depth. He got an entire episode to play with it in season 2. Nick Mohammed, who starts as the ball boy? Nathan.
The Kit Man.
Yeah, the Kit Man. And just, wow, what a storyline he got, especially in season 2. It had so many amazing characters and certain people I knew as well, which was nice. I personally know at least 2 people who were in Ted Lasso, and it was so nice to see them.
I know every pub they're in Ted Lasso as well. I've drunk in all of them.
You've been barred from all of them.
And I've already started to see some of the cast in other films, which is quite nice. I know Cristo Fernandez.
No, because that's where it all goes wrong.
Well, hopefully not.
Because this is where they all break up away from the TV show, and then you lose it.
Don't think
just like Community, like Parks and Recreation.
I'll tell you the big difference. Apple money, baby. It don't matter how Apple are just going to be like, it's our most successful show. Like,
you haven't said what the show is yet. What is the show?
So, ladies and gentlemen, my number one, top of the list, Ted Lasso. Woo! It's such a fantastic show. I really like. Wow. Everybody in it's fantastic. It's so well made, and it's such a feel-good show.
It's proper slapstick comedy.
Yeah, it's such a feel-good show that by the end of it, you feel good after watching it. And it
But
has
I think it might
heavy...
be an English thing.
No, it's internationally. It's massive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
I
been
thought
a
it's all
couple
like born British humour.
No,
Like Only Fools and Horses.
not at all. Because I think because it's so feel good that you put it. They
Oh,
put it
what?
on.
Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people in the States that are watching it.
Yeah.
You need to watch it, Frank.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
And then you see Roy Kent, you go, that's my mate Dave.
You fuck off. Who are you?
Fuck off.
What do you want? What do you want? Don't touch me. You know what I mean? It's like it's that good. But yeah, absolutely brilliant show, and definitely my show of the year. And makes if anything makes Apple TV worth it, that show does it all on its own. And it's not even. It's just fantastic.
It wasn't
But
a big blockbuster. It was just literally a slapstick comedy that was released and it became a cult hit.
Well, no, I think it was made with the intention of being a big hit, and it was.
I don't think it was. I think it was like they've made a few comedy programs, but I don't think it was going to be. They thought, it's just going to be just a normal comedy program, not like the comedy program.
Also, Brett Goldsmith runs a podcast, Films to Die With, I think. Films to Watch Before You Die, or something like that. That's available that's a quite good podcast I've listened to as well. But yeah, it's just credit to them. I hope they all go far and they all go well. Obviously, Jason Sudeikis is already a big star in his name, isn't he? I think. What was he on before this?
Being Hangover or something like that.
A million things, yeah. It's been loads of stuff.
It was around that era with the Hangover and stuff, wasn't he? Those sort of movies. Vacation with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, he was just one of those, you know.
Oh yeah, We're the Millers, Colossal.
We Are the Millers. That's the one.
Horrible Bosses.
Yeah.
Hit Monkey. Saturday Night Live, The Mandalorian.
He was in The Mandalorian.
He was in Chapter 8, Redemption, Bike Scout Trooper 1.
Oh, so you didn't see his face because he was.
No, he was the one. He was the one that was on. Do you know when they're trying to shoot at a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I think he was.
When they were chasing baby Yoda. Yeah.
I think that was this one. So yeah, he's done all right for himself. Oh, and The Last Man on Earth. I remember that one. But no, cool. Right, so yeah, that's it. Really, that's my list. Frank, how do you feel about that list?
Good. Like I was going to ask you about a couple of other stuff, or a couple of other things. Like what about Dune?
I
haven't watched it yet.
What?
I haven't watched it.
We haven't had a chance over here. It came out so late. It was like, do you watch it? Do you wait for it to come out? So now it's like you might as well just wait for it to come out on the streaming service.
Jesus, I saw IMAX.
Well, we didn't have the chance because we were locked up.
Well, enough of our excuses.
Well, no, but you weren't closed at that point, were you?
No, but we had a killer virus on the loose, so no one won out.
Yeah, I just had to weigh up the odds. Do you know what I mean? Do I want to see Dune that bad?
Do you want to see Dune or do you want to get sick?
Have you seen Last Night in Soho?
No, but I've heard of it, and it's coming out soon. I think it's on
Sky Movies, I think.
Like home premiere.
Yeah,
Sky Movies.
15 quid. Huh?
I think it's a Sky film. I think it came out for free.
Maybe, but it's on Amazon as a home premiere.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of what else.
that should be out soon, I think, and we can watch it. It's about the woman who time travels, don't she?
Yeah, sort
Somebody's
of.
been
Yeah.
killed.
Have you seen it, Frank?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
it's great.
could tell us about it then. What
It's
happened?
great. I mean,
Was you stoned?
no.
I've got it up here. Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's psychological thriller.
But it's the same thing. It's like
an
it's
aspiring
just
fashion
it's-
designer.
Yeah, it's pubs in Soho that you've been in.
Never been in a pub in Soho in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
15 quid at the moment to rent. So I'm like, I'll wait. I'll wait.
What about any of the comedy specials? Like, did you watch the Chris Rock when they released the uncut version of Tambourine?
We don't get
No,
stuff like that.
I Chris Rock, I have fallen out on. Like, I don't find him that funny anymore.
No, but they released the unedited version of Tambourine, which was the one he released 2 or 3 years ago. It was way better, way funnier.
Okay.
They cut out so much stuff. And it's basically like he's just as funny as he ever was. But
No, sorry, I wasn't thinking Chris Rock. I was thinking Chris Tucker. That's the one I'm not a big fan of anymore.
Who are you thinking of?
I was thinking Chris
Tucker.
Chris Rock still got it.
He done Spiral.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch that?
No, but it's on Amazon now.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, but apparently it's pretty low on Rotten Tomatoes. It's one of the worst films of the year.
Of course it is. Rotten Tomatoes, a measure
No,
of
actually, one of the worst films of 2021.
Yeah, I've got no doubt. On Rotten Tomatoes, it probably is.
Because Cobra Kai's number one.
Yeah, Cobra Kai's number one, and Spiral is the worst. I'm not having it with Rotten Tomatoes. And I think, you know what? I think
Cobra Kai is 100%. Boba Fett is 86.
Yeah, no. I know it's all those 80s dads who's just discovered Rotten Tomatoes and gone, oh, Cobra Kai is so good. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like watching Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. The worst acting in your life is.
Yeah, I'm like, I loved Karate Kid, but it wasn't that good a film. Do the swan technique. He walked into his foot. Even I could have dodged that foot. Come on.
It's the crane technique, Curtis. How many times?
It's a donkey.
We have been the boys from Bossk. This is our 2-hour. This is our 2-hour podcast.
We managed it 2 hours. Okay, and I've got to go to bed. I've got an early tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank Frank. Can I just say thank you for being one
Thanks
of our
for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back again sometime. Ladies and gentlemen, loving you. Please keep your feedback and questions coming. Our crowd keeps growing. Our audience becomes that more loving. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the boys from Bossk. We'll be back again soon.
Lasso. Recorded has stopped. Well done.